Well, Riza sacked, Rambo back, and the Hoops are off to yet another final. Could end with 120 trophies in total. Now, look, we're counting trophies. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thunk it? Morg, roll the intro.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Beat Podcast, episode 28 of season 4. My name is Fennan, and alongside me, I've got my two best pals, and they're going to have to drag me through this episode because my spirits are very, very low. But we got Mayhem. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Good. Gondor, doing well?
Getting by.
Getting by, yeah, well. Did we have a fun Easter weekend? Obviously, it was an extended weekend for us all.
Speak for yourself. How to work Saturday?
Oh, well, never mind then. But you had a nice time away, didn't you, Stu? You headed up north to Uppsala.
Yeah. Spent a couple of days in the neighbouring city. Didn't get to see Sirius play, unfortunately, because they were actually playing in Malmö. They had an away day.
Oh, they were away from home. I thought they were home that weekend. But
I did watch the game.
Yeah.
Watched it on one of the TV screens in the darts place, but it wasn't live football that I was hoping for.
Yeah. Well, let's start off with a spark. I don't want to bring the tone down too quickly, but let's start off with a special Swedish team that we know and love, who only went and performed a phenomenal second leg fight back against Rapid Vienna.
Oh,
Did it for you.
absolutely. Scored
4 goals to 1 in the semis against a familiar name that we know of by the name of Chelsea.
Love a bit of celery.
I can't sing the rest of the lyrics, can I? No.
Probably not.
Yeah. No, the Rapid Vienna game was fun. Scored 5 goals. Unfortunately, one of them was into our own net. Saved quite a bit, I think, by the first red card. Early doors, Rapid Vienna go down to 10 men. We scored late in the first half with a penalty.
Oh, Danielson.
Was celebrating that with Ian. We had also been out drinking that night, so not long after that, I was like, right, I'm going to bed. And then had to shout to Fian through the door, be like, for fuck's sake, it's 1-1.
You just
then
from the bedroom. Fuck!
And then I passed out and woke up the next morning to see that it was 4-1. And what a lovely time it was.
Top fan, love it.
Mate, I was drunk. I'd been out drinking. So, yeah, no, it was quite nice. Djurgården playing the way we have been playing. Exciting. Followed up with today's game. Another very exciting game. 0-0 draw.
Against Gais, yep.
Against Gais, who we are currently below in the league. We are 12th out of 15, 16.
Yeah, it's only been 4 games played, though.
No, I know, but early days, Djurgården don't start this crap. I don't remember the last time we started the season and in the first 5 games we were in the bottom half of the table. It don't happen. But we're playing such exciting football, but we're just not scoring.
A little bit distracted, maybe what's on the horizon. Surely that's, European semi-final against, obviously, Chelsea's got to be one of the biggest games in Djurgården history, I would imagine.
Yeah, it will be. But I don't see how that's a distraction when we started the season. We hadn't even played the quarterfinal against Vienna yet.
Yeah, it's these strange things happen in football, don't they? They know that there's a big game coming up, and everyone obviously has one eye on that. Are you going? Are you clambering for home tickets?
I need to wait till Friday, payday, see if I can get tickets then. But I'm hoping to get a ticket.
Oh, mate. It's going to be a fortress. The Tele2 Arena, packed out. And it's usually a stadium that is usually cut off as well when it comes to allocation of attendance, isn't it?
Yeah, they generally try and cut off a couple of the corners to separate the home and the away fans.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if they'd do that for the European game though.
No, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been in that stadium where it's been a complete sellout. So I don't know. I would imagine they would open those corners up for fans to be there, but who knows?
No, but yeah, tickets are hopeful. But we'll see. As I say, I've unfortunately got to wait 4 more days before I can even try and buy a ticket, and by then they might all be sold out.
Probably will be. Yeah, you're gonna have to reach out to one of the boys if possible, if they can. Perhaps, maybe, just maybe, get hold of 2 more. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll
Be
see.
a great day.
It'll be a
Well,
great
nice.
day. Well, speaking of semi-finals, Celtic prevailed completely night and day the last time you faced St Johnstone, but this time round, 5 goals, 5-star performance, and a little side note for St Johnstone: the only silver line they could take is that probably Mackenzie Kirk holds the unwanted title of scoring the greatest ever goal to be disallowed by VAR. Well, Christ, but in the final, Aberdeen in the final. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I had to catch up on the game because Easter Sunday we were down in Portrush with the family, so I had to catch the game afterwards. Absolute nightmare in Portrush. Anyone that lives in Northern Ireland don't attend Portrush on Easter Sunday because there's a load of absolute knobheads that drive around souped up Nissan Micras and rev about 200 times. And apparently that's a thing. Well, very entertaining. Not for me. So obviously, I'd seen the result and then watched the performance, which was a nice way to do it because you're not on edge. You're not, sort of overseeing things or not seeing things because of the nerves of the game. But yeah, I think again in the first half we were fantastic, very similar to the Kilmarnock game. Out of sight, Callum McGregor opening up the scoring just shows lovely composure on the edge of the box, opens his body up, slots it in the bottom corner, and then turns provider for the best player in Scotland this season, Daisa Maeda, to take him to the top of the scoring charts in the Scottish Cup as well as everywhere else. He's been obviously phenomenal. Adam Eder gets on the score sheet, and then just before half time, Daisa Maeda's at the double and makes it 4, and the game's dead and comfortable. And then in the second half, shot a fantastic finish at the back post, and yeah, it sets the final up now. Brendan was talking about setting personal targets going into these last couple of games. Obviously, the initial target is pick up the point we need against Hearts in the weekend coming here to obviously secure the league title, and then obviously we're on to Rangers after that. And no matter the situation, obviously those games are always important. I may be saying something different in a couple of weeks if it doesn't go right. Maybe telling you it's a complete dead rubber and no one gives a fuck about it. But yeah, look to maximise the points now and go into the final against Aberdeen. We've had a mini resurgence again. They were brilliant at the start, utterly dog shit after that, and they've sort of come back the ways a bit. So yeah, look, I'm sure they'll be over the moon, obviously, to secure the final. But it's our job now to go out there, be thoroughly professional, and make sure we do the job at Tynecastle when it comes, and then push on to the final. And yet another treble beckons, and what a time to be a Celtic fan. To live through these times, enjoy them, lap them up, and yeah, it'll be nice to actually, obviously, they did their best. They tried their very best to lose the title at Batudry, but Aberdeen couldn't quite stand the last couple of minutes, and they were dancing around the sidelines last week celebrating that point. So fair play to them, big points. So it'd be nice to have the opportunity to go and win the title ourselves, and obviously it won't be at our place. It'll be there, and then if we get that point, then Rangers can give us a guard of honour.
Yeah. James Tavernier, all there for it.
There we go.
No, exactly. No, I think Brendan setting personal targets will prove to be key in those last few games, of course, to wrap up the league title, wrap up the Scottish Cup, and then, of course, regaining those bragging rights over Rangers, obviously to keep those standards high and the playing levels at their best.
Yeah, look, I think it's something mad at the moment that they haven't won at home for, I think it's like 3 months or something. Don't quote me on that, but they're on a barren spell at home.
I think it's like 5 straight defeats they've had.
Yeah, that factors into being like 3 months or something that they haven't won at home. And I think they have 3 home games in the split to try and get that done, or it could stretch as far as 5 to 6 months without winning at home. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, beautiful Bazball, you gotta love it. It's not always fault. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of Philip Clement in there as well, but yeah, we've got to go out. We've got to prove it. If we play like we have done, in the first half of the Kilmarnock game, in the first half of the semi-final, we'll batter any team in Scotland. When we're playing like that, there's absolutely no team that can live with us in this country. So there's the bar. We've now got to go and make sure that we reach it in the final 5 games and maximise as many points as we can. That's it. So we kick into the final in the best form, and yet again, Brendan Rodgers can become the first manager in history at Celtic Football Club to win 3 trebles. So personal accolades, and we know he loves to be personal accolade. Yeah, tell us he doesn't, but 100% he does.
Yeah, of course he does.
Yeah, he wants to be, the first, and put his name up in lights again, and then everything. Obviously, we hit the reset, and we see what we can do in the market in the summer. Obviously, we know Tierney's coming back, which is a massive bonus for us. And we'll probably lose Greg Taylor, and I imagine there'll be a few others that move on. I'd be incredibly surprised if Rio Hatate was still a Celtic player come the start of next season. So, there's deals to be done. We know that we want a striker as well. So we're linked with pretty much every winger in world football that isn't elite. So
yeah,
we've got to get out there and make the right moves and strengthen and try and kick on even more. This is what we've done before from positions of strength is sat on our morals and allowed them to come back to us. And this is the time to really put the foot on the throat and accelerate. We've had a decent European campaign.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go out and try and do something a little bit better, and not be facing Bayern Munich in that playoff round and have ourselves snookered. So yeah, we've got the opportunities are there to go and really stretch and just make sure that domestically we're unattainable, and then Europeanly, let's see how far we can go. But a lot of that also depends on keeping players at the football club, which isn't our model. So no doubt, there'll be a few people that'll be sought after, and we may choose to activate that interest. At which point, they'll need replacing as well. Cameron Carter-Vickers has been linked with the likes of Leverkusen. I couldn't see us saying no to 20 million if they come knocking. Nicholas Kuhn was whispered about Brentford. If they were to come in, and with a serious offer, we would probably, I think,
cash in
take
on
that. So we never know how the summer's quite going to pan out with Celtic. Again, I think Alistair Johnson will be highly sought after in the summer.
Yeah.
And again, I think he would be an extremely difficult player to replace. So we've got to try and keep as many as we can, as many that is happy to stay, and try and maximise that, and then obviously add to the squad where we can in order to improve.
No, absolutely. I remember when Alistair Johnson first came in and was originally going to be the void for Juranovic when he first was out the door, and there's always a big question mark and wondering whether they can fill that void left by such a great servant to the club. And of course, Alistair Johnson came in and filled that role perfectly. And it just feels like it's going to be the same case this summer as it is pretty much all the time. Being able to find ideal replacements who you feel that can really grow and develop, and to avoid that's been left by an individual who's just done so much for the club in most of the time in a short period of time. And so,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's that's going to be tough. I mean, there's rumours about Kyogo. I don't see that. I don't think it's beneficial to us.
It hasn't gone well for him at Rennes, has it?
No, well, he was signed, and then I think the Rennes manager was sacked. They brought someone else in. He isn't his biggest fan, so he's been unlucky with that.
Yeah.
But I don't see there any justification in going back to that now. He was already sprinting up towards the 30 mark. I think we're right to move on and look elsewhere. We got a decent fee for him, and that allowed Jota to come in, and it worked out well for us. So I think it's about keeping our big players here and building off that. I don't know if there'll be much interest in Days of Maeda. Obviously, he's had a fantastic season, but keeping these boys on the books and then going again. And let's see where we can get to. Hopefully, if we can keep the likes of Alistair Johnson, Carter Vickers, and we only lose maybe Rio Hatate and maybe Nicholas Kuhn, if that's the case. Obviously, it looks like Greg Taylor will leave as well.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Schlupp's loan will come to an end. Then we'll see where we stand. But I think the business that we've done, last season, when I think Brendan had more say in it rather than the utter dragged in his first stint.
Yeah.
Confident that we'll bring in players of the level that will propel us forward. And Brendan reckons he's here for next season, so let's take him at his word. He's again, he's a couple of games away from delivering another treble, so he's come back. He's done exactly we wanted him to do. Stamp on their throats and stretch us out again, and he couldn't do more domestically.
End up standing on our own throats, like me losing 5 games on the trot at home. Wasn't really played a big assist in that as well.
Well, I mean, whatever we are, I don't even know how many points clear we are now. You know what I mean? I just know how many we're just
15.
15 points.
It could be tons more than that. It could be 20, easily.
Yeah.
One of my favourite things is, as I'm looking through this, Glasgow Times 2 days ago had this as a headline: Celtic's title win has been a flat track bully snorefest. Raise your game, Rangers.
Look, that's what you get. I mean, the press is, should we say, I think more lenient towards one side. We could go and win 15-0 against Real Madrid. They'd find a problem with it. So
yeah.
Look, pinch of salt, everything the mainstream media pushes against us. But Rangers have made, for a neutral, I'm sure, Rangers have made the title dull. That's because they're shit and we're not. So, that's as simple as it is. It isn't a blight on us. We haven't made it boring. I see people...
No. But that's what the headline's saying. Rangers had to step their game up because they've made it boring.
Oh, they're fucking brutal. I saw the same argument as well that was being put to Liverpool, saying who's tested Liverpool. That's in Liverpool's fault. That's every other team in the league. Arsenal shitting themselves. City can't fucking string 2 wins together. Spurs have capitulated. United, dog shit.
Spurs were never in the competition, though, were they?
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. But normally they're a top 4 club.
In terms of stature, you expect them to be up there challenging.
If you looked at the start of the season, you said who's going to finish in the top 6. There would be a whole host of names. None of them have performed in any way, shape, or form like they're ever going to push Liverpool. You could say Chelsea played okay the first half of the season and then have just fallen away. But there's been no real consistent pressure. Arsenal have done their best to fuck it up wherever they go. I mean, and much the same as Rangers. I mean, they've not even gone away from him. They've just been utterly rancid at home. But mixed in amongst that, they've still beaten us twice this season. So I think that derby is still important. And, let's try and finish as many points ahead of them as we possibly can, because unfortunately the split means they've got to play the good teams in the league, and they haven't been really good against them. They've been quite shit.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, we can definitely see. I can see that gap being further extended come the end of the season for sure.
Yeah, and even if it ends as 5 points, and they try and pretend it was, some kind of moral victory as they fucking do, they're going to win fuck all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Which is what they've become absolute specialists at, winning absolutely fuck all, and then hanging all their hopes on this takeover in the summer. Why would someone that owns the San Francisco fucking 49ers, whatever they are,
49ers, 69ers, who cares?
why would they invest in Rangers? Surely there's a whole host of mid-Premier League clubs that you could go and pump money into.
Remember, they are Americans, though.
Exactly. So when the fuck have they ever watched Rangers? Everything on ESPN is going to be fucking.
I just keep thinking of that fucking Canadian guy who like recording himself in sunny Glasgow.
ESPN is just going to be filled with fucking Brighton versus Brentford. Do you know what I mean? 24/7. When the fuck? I think half the people over there that know Rangers only know it because of Drew McIntyre. If I'm being
that's a good point.
honest.
Yeah.
So maybe the 49ers are big wrestling fans, in which case they would have been wholeheartedly disappointed.
No wonder why Drew's always angry whenever I fucking see him wrestle now. Yeah, hey ho.
That's the emotion they wear best anyway. Fuck it.
That is.
Drew McIntyre looks like a scrotum in fucking Speedos, mate. Like, get him directly to fuck.
And slight side note on that. Speaking of the Scottish League, small hope that we can pull off a miracle, though, because Hibs can still finish above Rangers.
I mean, that would be absolutely
joke.
Phenomenal. That would be the best. I might celebrate that more than a title.
It means that Celtic would have to lose points to Hibs when we play them next, but
yeah, fuck it. 12 on goals.
Yeah.
We'll be champions by then. Win the title against Hearts.
John Joe Kenny in goal. Go on.
Beat them, and then Brendan knows what to do, motherfucker. Is it at Easter Road? I think that the match is. No, I think it might be at home actually.
Celtic are at home against Hibs.
Use a fucking rancid in Glasgow. Unless you're at Ibrox last time you were there.
What is the points gap between Hibs and Rangers at the moment?
13. 12. Yeah, 13 points. Okay. So they'd need to win every one of the 5 remaining games.
Oh, if only all their
games
Rangers at home, then would have been
Rangers would need to lose all of them.
Would have been a chance if they were all at home, but that would be quality if that happened. That'd be phenomenal. Of course, Hibs would have to go and win all their games pretty much, but
yeah. But the last day of the season is Rangers versus Hibs, so if it managed to get down to that one, that would be quite fun.
Oh. Well, we'll wait and see. Well, it was Easter weekend, and we had Easter Monday today, and there was me hoping for some form of resurrection from Cardiff, but nah. Dead in the water. Full of semen. Just like Manny McCann. But, I'm going to have to cut that. Never mind. But, yeah. So...
It was fucking toothless.
Toothless performance. You know what the thing was? That was probably our best performance we've had in weeks, and that speaks volumes.
I mean... That's why you destroyed it.
Oxford had they come literally to sit behind the ball, showed no attacking intent whatsoever. But Cardiff were, I don't know, man. I didn't see any urgency.
No intent, no forward thinking. Like, we're so poor going forward.
I mean, with that as well, obviously, you get the goal. 1 up. I forget your man's name.
Oh, Salek.
Yeah, Salek that buries it, and then it's about the 70th minute. Kean Ashford has the ball. I think it's Robertson.
Oh, the 2-on-1 when he's got
clean through. Like, why the fuck doesn't he play him?
At that point, I said, watch us go equalise now.
Absolutely mind boggled.
Yeah.
By that decision, not to just slide him in, and he's bearing down on goal, and that can be the difference. You know what I mean? Because obviously every other fucker's won around you. And
Yeah, literally everyone around us won. Plymouth beat Coventry 3-1. Derby went to the Hawthorns 1-3-1. Hull won 2-1 against Preston. Luton won 2. What was it? 2 or 3-1 against
3-1.
Bristol.
3-1 against
Bristol
Bristol.
City. Like, this is it. I mean, if there's any way, and there is, like, I'm completely like, I just want this season over now. I don't care if we fucking go down. I've already accepted that we're going down. But if we were, then it's basically win against West Brom, win against Norwich, and hope for the best for the teams around us to drop points. Like, that's the point it's got to now, where we're reliant on the teams around us. But and this, sacking Omer Riza, too little, too late.
Yeah,
makes
no sense to do it 3 games before. I don't understand.
No, it makes no sense. Just goes to show the thought process and the mismanagement of this club. I think I was a bit harsh when I said last week that he should have gone after Boxing Day. He really should have gone after that Luton defeat. That's when he should have gone.
He should never have been given the job.
Yeah.
But that's the truth of it.
Yeah.
Cheap option. He should have been nowhere near the football club in terms of managing the team. And you've paid the price massively. You give it to him on an interim basis until you get someone in. But yeah, to just allow this club to just float, right? And ultimately, they've floated themselves into this position. And how many players will you lose?
The turnover of our squad next year will be massive, absolutely massive, because there'll be players who are on, a good 20 grand a week.
Yeah, and then you need someone that's well versed and can come in and manages out of that league, which is no mean feat. I mean, Birmingham are obviously pulling away, but they've had incredible investment to get to that point. They brought half of the Scottish Premiership that no one else wanted. So they've obviously pulled away. They'll be champions if they're not already crowned. I don't know if they've been officially crowned.
At the moment, I think they're free. Well, Wrexham are second now, but they've played 2 games more than Birmingham, and there's a 3-point gap. So I think Birmingham.
There's a 13-point gap.
13-point gap.
Yeah, it's a massive gap.
Wrexham, Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham have 99
Birmingham
points.
Have gone up. They've gone up. No, they've already gone up.
Yeah. So, look, obviously they've had massive investment, but there's clubs throughout that division that show you how difficult it is. Wickham, obviously, have been overtaken today. Who come down? Huddersfield, Barnsley. It's a super difficult division to get out of, and you need someone in there that's well versed and knows how to get through that division. But then also, if you go up, also knows how to keep a team in the Championship, which isn't no mean feat. So the next appointment is huge, and I've absolutely no doubts that Cardiff will fuck that up at all.
Oh, they definitely will.
I mean, speaking of money, I've just looked it up on the active squad. Your top 3 wages in third place, El Ghazi's on 24k a week.
Oh, get him off the fucking books.
Ramsey's on 24k a week.
He'll go because...
And Callum Chambers is on 33k a week.
Yeah, he'll go. All 3 of those will go. Ramsey, obviously, he's accepted a managerial role now. He's basically saying he's not going to play again.
Yeah.
So that'll
done now. Yeah.
That'll reduce. El Ghazi, he's barely played.
Yeah, not
and
good
Callum
enough at all.
Yeah, Callum Chambers
not good enough. Go.
Yeah. Just outside that, you've got Rulesy as well on 18k.
He took a pay cut as well from his last contract renewal. I don't know what will happen with Rulesy because he's actually part of the coaching setup with Rambo at the moment.
I think that's who they give the job to, if I'm honest.
Rulesy, yeah.
No, I think Ramsey gets the job.
Oh, Ramsey, yeah. Okay.
He gets the job. Chris Gunter in as his assistant, and
yeah,
they build from it. I can't see him going anywhere else. because Ramsey will be cheap.
Of course, no, that's it. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we're sat here this time next year and we've still got Rambo and Gunter and Rulsey and that setup still in place.
Look, he may go on to be successful. Who knows?
I hope he is. You know, if there's anyone more that I'd want to be successful in their managerial career, it's absolutely Aaron Ramsey. But yeah, it's hard to really look beyond to that point. It's just an utter numb, dead feeling around the club at the moment. Like, I thought the fans were fantastic today.
Come out in their force, and
yeah,
that was a game to get them off their seat, to get them back on side.
Yeah,
it was just so Willock. I don't know what's happened to that guy. I know he puts the cross in for the goal and all, but like,
it's just when he was off the ball and he's just like, you know, touching shoulders over Dowder. I'm like, fucking get into space.
Yeah, I thought O'Dowda played all right.
Yeah.
I thought Robertson played okay.
You know, but these are players as well who I don't see being on the books next season either. I think Robertson's too good for League One. O'Dowda's too good for League One. Like they'll move on.
Yeah,
they'll move on.
Yeah, I thought Cardiff, if you wanted to be, if you're analysing it and there wasn't, you know, now 2 games to go after that game finishes, you would probably say Cardiff were okay. But in, you know, perspective of what was on the line, it was toothless.
Yeah.
Which sounds a strange comparison to make because you've just said they were okay and they said, but I think that's it. What you could say was Cardiff was solid today. We barely give anything away. Obviously, you know, Brannagan hits a thunderbolt from the edge of the box from a free kick, but defended the throw-ins from Volks really well. They were solid and okay, but just not enough attacking threat. Kian Ashford was woeful.
Yeah, he was poor. Yeah, really poor.
Thought Alves when he come on looked all right, but didn't do much. And
the problem is there with Alves is that he's got to receive the ball in front of him. If he receives the ball with his back to the opposition, then he loses possession too easily. But you get him on the ball in front of him, he could be highly effective. But that wasn't the case. Ollie Tanner is stealing a fucking living. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think that was the only sub that left you like, if you were marking it, did you get stronger or weaker? I think Alves, you stayed the same, but every other sub I thought you got weaker. Like Tanner weaker, Mate weaker,
Turnbull.
Fucking hell, weaker.
Turnbull, yeah.
Like, it's mental. Like, that's what I mean. It's absolutely mental that the players that are on the books. And look, David Turnbull, right? He goes down to League One and plays against really, you know, poor opposition. He'll probably have a fantastic season.
Yeah.
But not if you want to play any type of high pressing game. Like, he just doesn't have it in him to play that way.
No, exactly. Yeah, he's one who just likes to soak up the ball and just, you know, have all the time in the world with him. But, you know, these players we're mentioning here, like Mate, Tanner, Turnbull, like these are going to be the kind of players we end up retaining because there'll be others that will move on elsewhere. The youngsters will stay at least. I mean, I know Ashford will still be there, Isaac will be there, Colwell will be there. But I wouldn't fucking raise your fist, mate. He's been wank this season.
I know, but he's another one that I think will actually do really well in League One.
That's a shit sentence.
I know it's a shit sentence, but I've got a soft spot for Colwell. I want at least one good season out of him.
Well, I mean, if you can't do it in League One, then bin him.
Exactly.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So you have to bounce back strong. You know what I mean? If you get stuck in this division, it's brutal. Yeah, and again, I refer to people like Charlton, like Huddersfield, Barnsley, Peterborough that have been up and down from this division. That you need to bounce back and come back with the nucleus of the squad that you went down with, which obviously can you get the likes of Callum O'Dowda to say, right, look, just one season, it'll be a promotion season, stay with us. Can you get Robertson? You know, maybe O'Dowda might move on because he's a little bit older, but Robertson's still quite young. Give us a season, one season to come back, have a promotion season. You know, ride the wave. and come in and kick on. And once you get that momentum behind you, see it with Ipswich and things like that. They ride that wave all the way to the Premiership. So, that's me trying to take a real bad situation and turn it on its head.
I know. It's
So much needs done at the club. Obviously, Tan's at least going to be there for another year because he's not going to get able to fucking buy the club.
No, exactly. Yeah.
A big thing for the next couple of weeks will be who's the new manager, because you need the players at this point will be as bored of the rotation as you as the fans are, and if they get someone that they don't think is going to be strong enough, a lot of them will want to jump ship, even if they think
honestly,
could stay.
I would be gobsmacked if Cardiff go out and employ anyone that is an Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah.
Who wants the job now?
This is it. It is arguably the most unattractive job within the English football pyramid.
But weren't we saying that around the time that Riza got signed on?
Well, it was still more attractive than any team in League One, because you could have kicked on and saved them when he was appointed. You're now looking at a team that is more or less relegated, and the turnover, the rebuild job. Like even people that have a connection, even if you used to go and speak to Nathan Jones right now, there's an outside chance that Charlton get automatic promotion.
Yeah.
So even if they don't and they lose in the playoffs, like, does he drop a playoff team to try and rebuild? He may do because he's a fan, perhaps, but it doesn't make logical sense, does it?
No. And I think, with Nathan Jones being a fan, I'm pretty sure he's got a good understanding of the running operations in the club at the moment and everything in around the club. Like I said, it's just, it doesn't sell to anyone. It's not appealing at all.
Not one bit, because it doesn't make any kind of sense for anyone to take the plunge on Cardiff, because there's no. You talk about risk and reward. There's no reward for taking that club on.
There isn't.
And even if you get promoted next season, you don't raise your stock. Everyone just says you should. That's what you should have done anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you don't get promoted, then it's an absolute disaster. So if you're not top two out of a 24-team league, you've had an absolute disaster of a season. So I don't foresee there being too many people that are putting their hands up for it, and that's why I think they'll go with Ramsey.
Yeah,
they'll go with Ramsey, Chris Gunner, and there will be a feel-good factor going into next season because you have someone in there that is a legend of the football club, and you have Welshmen in and around. Whether or not he maybe reaches out to the likes of Joe Ledley and people we can trust and brings in that staff alongside, Joe Rouse and Chris Gunter, and gets a real core of staff that he can trust. But I think there'll be a feel-good factor going into next season after obviously the hurt of relegation dissipates. But it's so important how you start next season.
Yeah, no, it is. But we just need to, inject that fight and desire and that emotion back into the club because it's just completely stale.
We need to get rid of people that.
Get rid of so much deadwood who we've inherited, like beyond Riza and whoever.
Those managers have inherited, but you've gone out and brought this shit. Like Turnbull, Mayte, like who the fuck is signing him?
Like who signed him? I think it was Bullet who signed him.
Like, that's a reason to sack him in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Like every time that we talk over the last 2 seasons, every time we're talking about, a top Cardiff player, right, or someone that you can, someone that's a nucleus of this team or drives this team forward, the fuckers have been on loan. Whether it's Jaden Philogene, whether it's Tommy Doyle, right? So we can't buy when you go out and actually fucking buy a player. They're so far off it. It's scary.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Alex Robertson may be the exception to the rule there, but he's been injured a lot this season, and we probably haven't seen the best of him. We may not if he chooses not to stay on for the next campaign, but there will be suitors.
Oh, absolutely.
What about Salek though? Because you were very hopeful when he came in, and he seems to have done all right.
I think Salek was a good buy. I thought.
yeah, Henke's the exception as well. Henke's done all right. What's he scored? 6 goals now?
6 goals in I think it's like the last 14 or something like that.
Incredibly one-dimensional though. Like, don't get me wrong. Like
6 in 18 and
18.
1 assist.
Yeah.
Incredibly one-dimensional. I mean, he is, that cliche of the big guy up top, but he does score goals in a team that doesn't score many goals. I think you'll lose Callum Roberts.
Robertson, Robbo will go 100%.
Someone to come in. So he may be the guy that leads the line. And the likes of, I don't know, Chris Willock, maybe you keep him. I don't think it'd be a big loss.
No, I don't think it'd be a big loss at all. And that's the case with the majority of the squad. Don't think there'll be a big loss whatsoever.
I think you've got a few centre backs to come back. What's the Norwegian that you have at the back?
Oh, Jesper Darland, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's been okay.
He's been all right. Gutas, I know, will be off anyway. I think he's made it clear that he wants to go back to Greece. Chambers, he'll be gone. I think Will Fish, since he's come into the side recently, has been okay. He's been one of our better performers. Perry and G's.
He's been poor this season, but can he I don't think there'll be too many people in for him, but can he rediscover something? Will he want to move on? Who knows? Obviously, this time last season he was linked with Premier League clubs, so whether a mid-table Championship club might fancy that they can turn his fortunes around.
Yeah, there's a player in him, like we've seen it, but he's been an absolute shadow of a player this season.
And then you start to get down to, like you said, the likes of Isaac Davis, the likes of Kian Ashford, Ruben Colwell. And these could be big time players. Kian Ashford's already played quite a lot this season, and for the most of it, I know I was absolutely digging him out a little bit ago. He's done pretty well.
He has, yeah. But it's hard to sort of really summarise his whole season after that situation earlier in the Oxford game when he should have squared it over to Robertson. But no, I think he's been one of our better performers in general.
Yeah. So it could be, and I imagine will be, a busy summer for Cardiff, unless they pull off the Great Escape, which just doesn't seem at all likely.
No, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't.
If Hibs can finish above Rangers, then Cardiff can survive relegation.
I won't go that far either. There's a better chance for Hibs doing that than us staying up. We have to wait and see. Right, Football Manager. 10 games further into the season. Who should we start off this week? Who should we start off with? I'm intrigued to see what progress you've made, Mayhem. How is life with Le Havre?
Le Havre. It's been okay.
Yeah.
Not quite the Omer Riza impression that we had last episode. Well, mainly because I haven't been sacked, I guess. So it's been decent. We started obviously with the 9th round of the French Cup against Atente Figueres Alnoy. Fucking nailed it. Beat them 2-0. That was comfortable.
Nice.
We then moved on to the French Cup 10th round. Where we played FC Fleury 91. Also got beat them 2-0. I think that's the furthest I've ever been in the French Cup. And then come up against Brest. I was 3-1 up in this game and capitulated at home to draw 3-3, which was a bit annoying. I went away to Rennes, and that was pretty shit. Lost 1-0. So at this point, it was looking bleakish. And then Adam Eder just decided that the 5 million or whatever I fucking paid for him, who knows, he was absolutely going to show it. And he's up to a 4-star player now. He's being linked with Nottingham Forest. Go figure, as soon as he finds some form, some English fucking team swooping in to steal him. In the 11th round of the French Cup, we played Le Mans FC, beat them 3-1.
Nice.
Then we went and we were playing RC Lens at home, which at the time were a champion sitting in the Champions League spot. Beat them 2-0. We then come up against Marseille away from home and scored in the 89th minute to pinch a 1-1 draw. Followed up by Toulouse at home, and we scored another late goal to win 1-0.
Nice.
And then went away to AC Ajaccio.
Oh yeah, I know you're on about. Yeah.
In the quarterfinals of the French Cup and won 5-2.
Yeah, that was a club where an old Mexican goalkeeper used to play for him. Do you remember him?
Never. So we're currently in the French Cup semi-finals. We are currently 9th. I am 11 points behind RC Lens, having won 8 games, drawn 6 and lost 9 on 30 points. So, it's been
quite steady.
I think it's going to be another mid-table finish. And then I don't think my 2-star profile, as I've looked at my profile, I'm not sure my 2-star profile is going to get me much recognition worldwide. So I wonder, I've started to look at the jobs that may be available.
Yeah.
I get the distinct feeling that the best job is maybe the one that I'm in.
We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, like by the end of the season, you have a bit of a reputation boost, and that can hopefully try and get you somewhere better outside of Le Havre.
Hopefully. I don't see with the investment that's coming, and obviously the players that I've tried to loan back for another season, but they won't allow Ben Doak to come back. They won't allow Abdullah Sima to come back. So obviously Jordan James has a £3 million clause. I imagine that'll be pretty much all my budget. And there's a few people that are exploring the end of their contracts. Balo Toure at left back and Desmes in goal. So there will definitely be a few players leaving, but I'll not be getting anything for them. And it was a toss-up between, do I let them go to the end of their contracts and I have them this season, or do I try and sell them? And with a few of them I tried to, and no one was in for them. So yeah, the summer's going to be busy again, trying to fill some voids with what I can only imagine is a very small budget.
Well, there was certainly a void that took place over last week as well, when a particular player you had on loan got recalled.
Yeah, Tommy Doyle apparently wasn't playing in his preferred centre midfield position, so I ended up having to replace him with Adrian Soot in the January window. 3-star player, just brought in because I needed another DM.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, yeah, that was a blow because, he was fucking playing games. What's the problem if he's playing slightly deeper or something?
Yeah, it's so frustrating when they do that. It's like, well, they're playing, what does it matter? And they're like, no, you've got to play him as a fucking inverted winger, fuck off.
So, yeah, it's a problem. There's a couple of good youngsters, a 2-star with quite a lot of potential in my academy. I don't know if I take the pain of, I'll definitely not finish as high, but I'll try and bed them in. Next season already is giving me the fear.
On that note, we're going to move over to you, Gondor.
I'm going to preface this with, I've worked out why I always end up ahead of Mayhem.
Go on.
I only count my league games when we're counting how many games ahead we're going. So every other game that's not a league game, I don't count.
Oh, okay.
Because the way I do it is I look at how many league games I've played.
Right, so you don't take the cup games and the European games into consideration.
No, I've not counted any of those. So that might be why I'm ahead.
Well, I counted them.
And my second preface is, after we discussed last pod about how people were now going to try and buy my players because I was doing all right, Arsenal came in and bought my goalkeeper. Literally 2 days after two continues after I went back on the game. So they came in and bought my goalkeeper for 9.25 million, rising to 13.75 million. So I made a profit on him.
Oh, good fee though.
Made a profit on him, and I went out and bought a goalkeeper called
Controversial name.
Gerten Poussin. Not nearly as good, but only cost me 250,000. So he came in. He's spent half the time he's been here injured.
Same as your last goalkeeper, really.
Yep. So going into the games, I came back to the French 9th round game against SM Caen. I lost 1-0. I got knocked out in the very first game.
All right, moving on.
At least you made it to the 9th round.
Followed this up with my final 2 Europa League games from the league phase. I had VfL Wolfsburg and a beautiful 94th minute winner from Steve Mooney. That was Mooney's return to form. I'd been criticising him last pod. Followed up with a 1-1 draw against Slavia Prague to make it into the knockouts. Then I had Angers in the league, won that 4-0. Le Havre in the league, won that 3-2. Then I had Ludogorets in the knockout round. I had them in the league stage as well. We drew 2-2 away to Ludogorets. Followed up with a 2-0 loss to Rennes. Followed up with a 2-0 loss to Ludogorets. They scored in the 113th minute and 116th minute. This was the game my keeper got injured. I had my striker in goal, just like last time.
Oh, you couldn't make this stuff up, could you?
Then I played Nantes, and that was the end of February. I won 2-0.
Good.
I've played 6 games since then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games since then. I haven't won a game. I am currently a little bit ahead of Mayhem. I am currently 28 games played, sat in 13th.
Mate, finishing top in this challenge is shit.
Fucking hell. Well, looks like it's going to be in formation by the end of this season.
The thing is, though, is that I'm 12 points outside of 16th, which is the relegation playoff. But I'm only 13 points outside of European football still, so it could still go either way.
Okay.
And I have 6 games left.
Okay. Right. Am I giving the summary of just the 10 games? Or am I giving the summary for the 20 games I actually played? You decide.
It'd be nice not being the one that's played the furthest ahead for once.
10 games. Right, here we go. Right. So, kicked off in cup action in the 9th round. Got to the fucking 9th round, didn't I? Had my annual cup tie with Bordeaux. We were at home, which we comfortably won 3-0. We then matched up with one of those like African teams who take part. Don't know. They're called Fair, like Phare. Fare? I don't know. Who cares? They lost 6-0. So yeah, that was comfortable. We then went into Europa League action in the league campaign against Villarreal away, where we lost 3-2. We went back to league action against Rennes, lost 2-1 at home. Why can't I ever beat Rennes? None of us could beat Rennes. And then I had a Europa League game against that Serbian team that me and Gondor couldn't pronounce last week. Beat them 4-2. Then February came. By the way, there was no transfer business for me in the January transfer window at all. Got no players off the books, and that meant no incomings for me. So, opening up February was away to Nice in the league. 2-0 up in this game. And in the last 10 minutes, they got one back. And then the 94th minute came along. And talking of goalkeepers, they didn't get injured. Their goalkeeper scored themselves an equaliser. Fucking goalkeeper scored an equaliser. So that ended 2-2. The 11th round in the French Cup, I got drawn against Nantes. Away from home and won 3-0. Because fuck them. Then I was away to Brest in the league. Now, Brest did score 2. We scored 4. 4-2 win. Then we got drawn into our knockout playoff round. So we finished 13th in the Europa League table. And we got drawn against Rapid Vienna. I'll do it to you again. So we had the away tie first, in which we drew 1-1, which was, well, it was better than the 1-0 loss that we suffered in the league campaign. And then we wrapped things off with a home league victory against Nantes, winning 2-0. And my next fixture is that home return leg against Rapid Vienna.
No, don't keep us in suspense. Tell us what happened in that.
Right, well, I'll go. Wait,
one game further. Tell us.
One game further? If you say so. It's a good one, don't worry. So,
Of course, suspense in it now, is there?
Yeah, no, that's the wrong one. That's towards the end of the season.
Played 5 seasons.
I'm not even at Clermont anymore. No, I'm joking. No, we won 4-0 at home. So Rapid Vienna are out.
Who'd you get drawn against?
We got drawn against Dutch giants Ajax.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem. Question is, do you want me to keep going? Do you want to know about Ajax? Or no, we'll wait till next week.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Yeah, we'll wait. Good. So there we go.
Yeah, I've added in to the dismay of my PC and the performance that it suggests. I've added in Italy, Spain, and Germany as playable leagues that should activate in mid-June.
Okay.
I don't know if there'll be any jobs that I want.
Well, they'll have exactly how many jobs you don't want.
Yeah, so I get the feeling come the end of the season, we may end up still in Ligue 1, maybe.
Perhaps. Maybe another season in France.
Me absolutely crying because I can't get the best loan players that I've ever had. I did see Curtis Jones. In my save, Curtis Jones went on loan to Marseille, which just seems mad that I missed him.
Weird, yeah.
See, if there's one thing I'm super happy about with my current team is I don't have any loan players to worry about. But I have had 3 of my best players come up to me and say that they're exploring their options now at the end of the season.
It's fucking Sports Interactive, right? And you're not busy, you're not doing fuck all, you've cancelled games. Sort that shit out. I mean, but you signed to play for Havre. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? Did you think we were going to be challenging PSG in 2 seasons? Ballo-Touré coming to me, I want to explore my options. Well, you're not that good, mate. Let me tell you what your options are. Stay here or move to a mid-table team, which, controversially, we're fucking playing as over the last 2 seasons. Desmas, 30-year-old goalkeeper, exploring your options. Well, don't worry, mate. I'd already explored them at the start of the season. You're fucking gone. You have to explore your options. I can't sell you for 200k. What are you pretending like you're Manuel Neuer for?
Yeah, I've got a bone to pick with my goalkeeper crying about, oh, you didn't bring a player along to help me settle in. I'll bring your fucking mum and dad over. You'll be fine. Like, grow up, you child.
That should be an option. 5 million to buy a player, mate. It's 300 quid to fly your parents in.
You know what I mean? Fucking hell.
There needs to be more FM 25, 26, whatever Sports Interactive brand it up as of after this colossal fuck up that happened last year. There should be more dynamic chats. I want to be able to say to him, right, when he's telling me that I haven't signed a player, okay, that's fine, right, but get your mum on a flight, £400, right, she can do your washing and I think
So you're all out.
I mean, you should be able to adjust your budget. It should be your scouting budget, your transfer budget, your wage budget, and then undisclosable. You just stick that in a pot to fucking shut them up.
Yeah, take out your fucking agent's fee as well.
Wow. But I tell you what did nearly happen, and this was around that time as well, so I can say it doesn't give it too much away. You know the crazily good centre back that plays for RB Leipzig. Well, he was crazily good a couple of years ago because of like S wears a bandana thing.
Okay. Oh, Simican.
Yeah, he was available on a free.
No. Who did he go to?
Well, he wouldn't go to me because I could only pay him 27,000, and he wanted 35. And the board
Oh no.
wouldn't stump up. It wasn't even the fact that. So I then did 27, padlocked it, and then he just 27,000 clauses come in, and I couldn't. I then couldn't agree. I couldn't agree to the 10% yearly wage rise because obviously we're Le Havre. Couldn't agree to a 1% one, mate. No, like fucking 10%. And
that would have been an absolute coup and a half.
it would have been unbelievable. It would have kept me at Le Havre for the next 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's. I mean, I think Adam Eder, he's going to go. So, because Nottingham Forest apparently, he's already come to talk to me. Adam, I see you play in real life, mate. You should be fucking thanking me that I paid 5 million for you. Right? You need to shut your mouth, get your head down, and score some more goals. So I'm probably going to lose him. Jota's available though.
Ooh.
14 million.
Ooh. Get Eder off the books right now.
It makes absolutely no sense to buy him, but
who cares? It's Jota.
watch this space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there'll be many clubs that will be able to sideways move to. But won't stop me applying from. Fuck it.
Well, we're going towards the end of the season. I'm not saying we've done it already because we haven't. Right? We haven't done it. I promise. There's going to be a lot to talk about next week. There's going to be a lot of updates. Are we staying? Are we going? And if we are staying, who are we bringing in? Who's off the books? There's going to be a lot to share next week, ladies and gents. But we are going to end things here and now. Boys, thank you very much for this evening. Been very therapeutic and, well, we'll probably be officially relegated to League One come next week, knowing us. But as long as I've got you lads, things always feel a little bit better. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Booth podcast, we're available on all audio platforms, including Spotify, Apple, and Audible. If you're watching us over on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, ring that bell for notifications. And until next week, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and the star.